Well, hello and welcome to another episode of More Perfect Marketing. My name is David Baer, and I was thinking last night, I walked by my daughter's room. She has a giant poster for one of my very favorite movies ever. You may know it. It's called When Harry Met Sally, written by the amazing Nora Ephron. And there's a really famous scene, takes place at the Katz's Deli on Houston Street in Soho, Greenwich Village. I guess it's Soho because it's on the south side of Houston, where Sally Albright and Harry Burns are talking about, does a woman fake an orgasm? Really famous scene. If you don't know it, you got to watch the movie. Well, so she proceeds to then demonstrate that it is indeed possible for women to fake orgasms. And at the end of this fabulous display, the camera turns to another patron in the restaurant, who incidentally was played by Rob Reiner, the director's mother. And she says, "I'll have what she's having." Now, why am I bringing this up? Because so many businesses look at other people in their industry, their neighbors, their competition, and they look and see what they're doing marketing wise, business growth wise, and they go, if they're doing it, I guess I should do it too. I'll get that same outcome. Well, today we're going to talk about why that probably is not the right approach. So to help me in this conversation, I'm so very, very happy to welcome Alyson Lex, who over the years has written millions of words of high converting copy, and as a result of those millions of words has brought in millions of dollars for the clients she's served. Alyson, welcome.
Thank you so much. I had to find my unmute button. Thank you. I have to admit, I was wondering where you were going with that story, but I like it because it really does illustrate the spectator who watched Meg Ryan do what she was doing had no insight into why she was doing it.
Yeah.
And she assumed it was because of the food, and it wasn't. And so when we look at what people are doing in their marketing, we end up making a lot of assumptions about the rest of their business to which we're not privy. So it really does put us at that disadvantage to just blindly copy.
Absolutely. So I was keen on having this discussion. And by the way, I think that's, as a copywriter, I hope you would have appreciated, and I think you did, that you take somebody out of, sort of where they are in a moment of time by introducing a story that illustrates something, right? That was the point in bringing that up in the first place.
No, I picked it up. It's called a pattern interrupt. It's not often you hear about women faking orgasms on a business or marketing show. So a little bit of a pattern interrupt and caught some attention. I like it.
The point, thank you. The point ultimately though was, finding the right path, because obviously we look at other businesses from afar. We can make assumptions about what they're doing and what's behind it, but we really don't know the whole story.
Right.
And I thought that there was probably an opportunity to really get a better sense of what the real story ought to be for an individual business. How do you actually figure out the right path for you, rather than just looking around, seeing what everybody else is doing it and trying to emulate it?
Absolutely. And, in my world, the marketing world, which I get to spend a lot of time because that's what I do, there are a lot of people who will say, "Oh, I made $200,000 on this launch." But what they don't tell you is they spent $190,000 to get there. And so all of these people are trying to do the same thing these $200,000 revenue people did. And they wonder why they're only making 10 grand or nothing. And so it's all the behind the scenes stuff that we don't see that I really don't believe there's one cookie cutter plan that works for everybody. You really have to understand the principles, the foundations of marketing and growth and all of that, and then apply it in a way that works for you, for your business, and for your audience, your offer, all of that stuff. So I like to, it's funny, we just talked about how I updated this from 4 to 5 M's, because there are really 5 things that need to be in place the right way, need to be dialed in order to be successful. Once you have that, then you can kind of puzzle it together however you want.
Yeah. So when I first started learning marketing, I was doing email marketing back in the 1990s, selling classical music concert subscriptions. And I really knew a lot about the classical music world, but I didn't know a lot about marketing. And so I started reading books, and this was before YouTube or even Google, so you couldn't like easily learn stuff
Right?
online.
I
But one of
remember
the
those
things that
days.
I think that I learned at that point was this concept of the message market match. And that was an early lesson that I think was really important to me, because I had misspent time and attention and money in the wrong places trying to reach people who I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if we were able to get the attention of people here? And so those are 2 of the M's, but you've built a lot on top of that. And so why don't we sort of walk through
Yeah.
your 5 M's?
Okay. So I always give credit where credit is due. And I used to work for Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer. And of course, I'm still a student of theirs. Dan has the 3M, the message, market, and media. And he always presented it as a little triangle, one at the other, and they were all essential. And I have updated it. So I took what Dan has put out, which I think he probably got from somewhere else. That's how things go. And I've added some things that I have found to be just as important. All right. So message is the message that you're sending, or saying, or writing, or I don't know, billboarding. I don't care how it is, but what you're telling them, the promises you're making, the benefits you're calling out, the things that you say are the reason they're going to want to buy. That's your message. Okay. That's what I work on the surface. Frankly, I work on all of it, but that is the part. And then the market is who, right? So if I am selling, let's pretend that I want somebody to come in to my financial planning office. Who do I want to have come in? Who do I work best with? Maybe it's recent college grads, or maybe it's pre-retirees, or somewhere in the middle. Who am I working with?
And
Then
we probably should talk for a moment here, because regular listeners will always hear me hitting them over the head with this anyway. But the who isn't anybody who needs a
everyone.
retirement plan.
Right. Yes, you are so correct.
And why is that important with regard to what you're talking about, though?
So these all connect. And I guess it's a pentagon because now it's 5 sides. So these all connect and are essential. And the reason that Dan used the triangle is because they each connected to each other. And obviously you lose that with the pentagon. So maybe it should be a star shape. But they all connect to each other. And if you break one of those lines, it doesn't work anymore. If you haven't dialed in your market, your message is going to miss the point. Because me, as a 37-year-old woman, I have very different retirement needs than a 59-year-old. And that's also, again, very different than a 21-year-old. I have different needs. I'm at a different place in my life. I'm thinking about my life differently than other people that aren't just like me. And so if the messaging doesn't speak to me directly, I could geek out about this for hours. If the messaging doesn't speak to me directly, then I'm not going to be as compelled, interested, or intrigued, or any of the words that you want people to be when it comes to buying your stuff. I'm not going to be as sold. So dialing in who you work with is I mean, it's probably one of the things that I talk about the most, believe it or not, is really dialing in who I work with or who you work with. Um, and it can make or break what you do. Now, that doesn't mean those are the only people you work with. You can have different campaigns. All right. So that's going to tie into the next M, but it doesn't mean that if you decide to work with 35 to 40-year-old women, that you're working with 35 to 40-year-old women forever. Get that dialed in, and then you can evolve and grow and offer something else. Because guess what? Those women get older and they turn into 40 to 50-year-old women. So maybe they need help, right? So just really think about, and it doesn't all have to be age and gender. I'm just really high level exampling here.
Mhm.
And then it's all about the media. All right. So message, market, media. And this is really where you find them and the method in which you communicate. Are they hanging out on TikTok? That's a media. Video on TikTok. Are they reading direct mail? That's media. Written word in a mailbox. Where and how are you communicating with them? And this is, I mean, it's essential because you have to know where to find them. You have to. And it's, if your people, let's say, are all on TikTok, 100% of your audience that you're going after is on TikTok, and you hate TikTok, they're not your audience. Find a new one or get over it and go on TikTok anyway, right? Like those are your options. Because if 100% of them are on TikTok, you're not going to find them on Facebook or, scrolling through message boards or however you would find your people. If you're a local business, but then you sponsor a kid's sports team 3 towns away, is that the appropriate? They're not there. They've got their own people right by their house, right? Like, so really think about where they live, where they are, where they're showing up in terms of how you can access them there. And, because I grew up in the Glazer Kennedy world, I love direct mail.
Mhm.
If you can't get them anywhere else, find them on a list and send them a letter and get them into your world. But the message and the market and the media all have to match, as well as the two that I've added. So that's Dan's triangle, is message, market, media. And then I have added number 4, which is moment. So there are two types of moment, one in their day and one in their buying journey. So in their day, this goes really well to message as well. When is your thing hitting them? When? Are they, Dan always used to say, standing over a trash can or recycle bin. I've updated it. But I mean, are they reading a letter from you while they're walking back from their mailbox in the middle of a snowstorm? Okay. Your message should reflect that. Are they scrolling their phone while they're in the grocery store checkout line, and now you've hit them with a 16,000 word essay on why they should hire you? It's not going to work. Think about their day. Also, the timing, right? If you're sending them an email at 4:59 on Friday, but it's a work email, you're not getting seen because they're out of the office.
Yeah.
Moment is essential. And then with buying journey, you want to look at, do they know that this is a problem? Are they problem aware? Are they solution aware? Those are the technical terms, but do they know this is a problem? Do they know it's a problem that can be solved? Do they have ideas on how to solve it? Have they looked for how to solve it? The place that this shows up the most is in advertising, online advertising, with Google versus social media ads. Social media ads are interruption because you're interrupting what they're doing, right? Podcast ads are interruption. TV commercials are interruption ads. Stop what you're doing and pay attention to me. Whereas Google ads, Pinterest ads, that kind of thing is search. And typically those ads have higher buyer intent because I'm actively searching for that solution and you just happen to pop up there.
Mhm.
Right. So that's where that shows up. But consider, are you trying to say, hey, this might be a problem for you, I have the solution, and trying to show them and educate them that there's a problem and help them take those first couple steps? Or are you meeting people a little bit later where they are? That's going to depend on your market, going to dictate where you show up and the messaging that you use. You see how they're all working together. But this is foundational stuff to understand.
So you talked about moment and you gave two really clear sides of it. I think that at least with the first one, that there's probably external things that are happening too. So you were talking about like what's happening in their day or what's happening in the environment around them. But what happens if there's an event that sparks the communication in the first place? Like, we're in a moment in time where there's a lot of big political things that come up, and when an event happens, one side or the other is trying to mobilize their folks and probably capitalizing on an event to say, hey guys, this just happened, or this is about to happen. Your neighbors in Maryland who do this in the financial investing guru world do this all the time with something is going to be happening in the market, or something just happened in the market.
Yeah.
And so I that's probably another angle on moment as well.
Absolutely. And we could even get more detailed. Okay, so there, at the time we're recording this, there's the housing market has come off of being crazy. My neighbor just sold her house, I think, for $40,000 over asking. Ridiculous. Awesome for her. Happy. Ridiculous. Great for me. But okay, so I am a financial advisor, and this person now has $40,000 more than they thought they would. Wouldn't that be a great time in their life for me to reach out?
Mm.
Or maybe I'm a real estate agent and I have a friend who's a real estate agent, and he just made a post on his Facebook about the state of the housing market. And he updated his people about what was going on. And hey, it's still a great time to buy. Here's why. Call me.
Mhm.
It was a good marketing post. I was really impressed by him. So moment, there's a lot of nuances in there.
Yeah.
But what it really means is to understand your person. And this is at the heart of what I do, which is understanding your person inside and out, to the point where you feel like they are a real person and you know them and they're sitting in your office or on your couch next to you. And it requires empathy, and it requires research, and it requires time. And those are things that many, many business owners are not willing to do. And when we're trying to copy other people, one of the big downfalls is they may have done it for their people, not yours.
Mm-hmm.
So really take the time to understand not just how old they are and how much they make and, what state they live in, but like, think about what you would know if they were Facebook friends with you from a social aspect. What do they do on their weekends? What kind of car do they drive? Where do they like to vacation? What books do they read? And then also from that psychological aspect of, what are their fears? What are their hopes? What are their dreams? What keeps them up at night with worry? What do they get excited about? What do they call their best friend and complain about at the end of the day? Those are the things that are going to make them feel super connected to you and help build that relationship. Because I think that one of the things that we got away from in the last, 15, 20 years, when it comes to marketing, is that relationship side. It became the wild west of the internet. And it, it used to be that you could send an email to 1,000 AOL addresses and have 500 orders because there was nobody else sending emails.
Yeah.
But then it became a numbers game. As more people entered, it became a numbers game. And I've been saying this for years. The recent, we'll call it the recent 2-year Panini has, I believe, accelerated this idea, but I've been calling it online Mayberry, where you walk down the street and everybody knows your name. And if I might tell a story,
Sure.
I realize I'm rambling at this point, but if I might tell a story, I used to bank at this one bank, and I don't drink anymore, but when I did, the liquor store was right next to the bank, and I used to get my hair cut right next to the liquor store, and then the ice cream store was right there, and the grocery store was right there. And I had this strip mall where I would go, and I was there all the time. I was always there because I always needed something.
Mhm.
And everybody there knew me to the point where I would see them elsewhere and they would say hi, the people who work there.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I felt really appreciated and taken care of. And that's what people want. They just want it online now. They want people who know their name. They want people who remember them, not just as a spreadsheet line or an entry in a database. They want people who remember them. If the more you can make your prospects and your customers, because selling to customers is still a thing, the more you can make them feel that way, the higher your conversion is going to be, bar none.
Mm-hmm.
And that is understanding your market, getting that message right, meeting them where they are, when they need you. And then my 5th M is merchandise, which is really just the word I could figure out. It's brand new, so I might come up with a better M. But it really means what you're selling. And
might morph to monetization.
It started as monetization.
Okay.
And I morphed it to merchandise because I felt that was a little more understandable and not as heady, as I call it. What are you selling? What are you offering? And I don't just mean like money, but like, how are they getting on your list? What's your freebie? What's your lead magnet? Or do you have a lower ticket offer? Or is it just, hey, wham, sign up with me to spend bajillions of dollars? What options do you have for them? And does that thing solve the problem they want solved in the way they want it to be solved? So if I want to get rid of the mice in my home and my 8 cats aren't cutting it, I have 8 cats. I don't want a course. I don't want an 8-week course. I want somebody to come in here and deal with it.
Yeah.
But if I'm trying to heal from, traumatic events in my life, I don't want somebody to come in here and beat it into me. I want an 8-week course or a 16-week course, or maybe I want a one-on-one relationship. Think about how people want to work with you to solve the problem they have and offer it to them, sell it to them at the price point they're willing to pay. You can always test it out, sell it here for a little bit, then raise it, sell it there for a little bit, raise it, sell it there until people stop buying. And then you found where you can't sell it anymore. But how do people want to get what you have? And how can you diversify what you offer? If you are a financial planner, can you offer a little product on setting yourself up to be ready to work with a financial advisor? Or, if you're a pest control guy, can you create a download of a checklist? Do this to keep the mice out of your house. Check here, check here, check here. Mm-hmm. Or, you're a lawyer. Here's a little, can you make a little product that fits in your wallet? The card that you need, it's laminated and it goes in your wallet. What to do if you get pulled over, right? Or whatever. Yeah. What can you offer that gives them a taste of you, helps them build that trust and relationship without necessarily going whole hog?
I love the fact that you've added this last one, whether it's monetization or merchandise, or we'll have to look through a dictionary.
Yeah, I have to think about it.
To figure out what
else. It's been 2 days.
Yeah,
I know it's been 2 days. So give me some time.
What it adds to it is the direct response piece.
Yeah,
it adds the take action and here's how, and so there's a conclusion to the process rather than just the
Mhm.
what you're saying and the place you're saying it, and at the moment you're saying it, or where
What
you're
you want
saying,
them to do.
yeah, what to do. And I think that's critically important, particularly
Mhm.
because that's an area where so many businesses fail, or they are trying to emulate, as we started this, right, what somebody else is doing, which may not be the right fit for their audience or their business.
Yeah. So there is a technique, a skill, an element in marketing called the damaging admission. It's where the person who's marketing admits they're not perfect. I have one. So I think it was the end of 2020. I decided I was going to have a group coaching program because everybody was having a group coaching program. I wanted a group coaching program. So I put together this 12-week program on how to write amazing sales copy. And by the end of it, you were going to have the best sales letter you have ever written. And I was going to work with, it was going to be amazing. I didn't sell any because nobody wanted to wait 12 weeks for a sales page.
Mm-hmm.
The offer was, it sucked. Okay. I learned nobody wanted to wait 12 weeks for a sales page. So that's an example of, and why I brought up all those other ones. I do this for a living. I've been doing this for 15 years and I still screw up. So don't feel bad. Just keep trying, keep going, put it behind you and go again.
Yeah, we did that in our business. The example that you were giving around, testing pricing, we
Mhm.
continued to push up the pricing until we found resistance, and we found the sweet spot.
Yep.
And I think you're absolutely right that it can't be one and done, right? You can't just make the
No.
decision, this is what I'm doing message wise, this is where I'm doing the marketing, this is how I'm communicating, right? Test stuff.
Play, test, learn to have fun with it. And, maybe this is just showing my geek, but I love trying to figure that stuff out. Like it's almost like a scavenger hunt, a treasure hunt, an adventure. Where can I find my people? Where is that maybe untapped place that's off the beaten path that my people are hanging out?
Yeah.
Where can I go? And, try a couple things. I've tried all kinds of stuff just for fun. I'm a
So
little
okay.
crazy.
Well, yeah, I will hasten to add that you've shared certain things about you, your personality, your likes, your dislikes, that are actually feeding into what you've just been talking about, because you are demonstrating to our listeners who you are. And some people are going to say, oh, wow, that's a little weird. And some are going to say, 8 cats. I love cats.
Right.
Right.
The
I got
cat,
to hop on
not
a
all
call
the
with
cats were on
Alyson.
purpose. Right. Not all the cats were on purpose, but it's one of those makes me stand out things. I'm the crazy cat lady, whatever.
And I think it also expands the people are still people and want to have relationships with other people, right?
Yeah.
That's why podcasts are so very effective. That's why the audio social platforms have become popular during I'm sorry, what was the term?
The
Panini.
panini.
Yes.
We're all so tired of the other P word,
Mhm.
panini. Yeah, you're right. People want to feel connected, and we didn't realize it until such time that we couldn't be.
Yeah.
So we found other ways to do it. Podcasting had an amazing explosion of growth. Social audio, social media, crazy growth in the last 2 years because we are all desperate for that connection. One of the best things that you can say and show and mean when it comes to your people, your customers, your prospects, your leads, your audience, you're not alone. I got you. Here's the group that you've been looking for. Here's a place for you to belong. We are all looking for that belonging.
Yeah.
Give it to them.
I love this idea of, well, we can dive into a whole hero's journey and being the guide conversation now, but I think we'll have to save that for another episode.
Yeah.
One thing that I think would be useful is you've sort of given with the 5 M's, a roadmap for a business owner to kind of assess where they are in their business. But there's a lot of businesses that either don't have the time or expertise to do more than sort of fill in the blanks on a worksheet, right?
Right.
And so I wonder, if we shift gear a little bit and talk about the type of professionals out there, such as yourself, who support businesses through this process.
Yeah. So I'm a copywriter. That's what's on my business card, which, yes, I still have those. Um, but I'm really much more than that because I do work with a lot of clients on many of these things. And so I like the phrase copywriter because that feels really good for me, but business growth, marketing consultant, whatever, that's really what I do. And whether it's me or someone else, look for someone that can help you figure out your niche, who understands maybe lead generation, who has that marketing consultant background, and I know you've had a ton of great marketing agencies here on the show. Maybe some of them can help. Again, if I'm not a fit for you, that's fine. I hit my microphone. I'm sorry, guys. So copywriters, again, some of them do what I do, and some of them really just write copy. And that depends on where they feel the strongest. So you can look for a copywriter who might be able to help you with some stuff beyond the message, but they'll definitely be able to help you with the message. And, different marketers, consultants, even just business consultant, that's really who you're looking for. Ask around, ask people that you trust, that you've worked with in the past, who they know that can help you with this thing. Or, you can head to my website, we'll talk, and I will see if I can find somebody to help you as well, if it's not something I can help you with.
So, and we'll share your website in just a moment, but, maybe I work with a lot of agencies, and we teach our agencies to sort of guide their clients through this discovery process and decision-making process. I'm curious to hear a little bit about your approach. How do you work with a client through this process?
So some of my clients, I do a lot of it for them. I come to them with questions, they answer them, and then I go off and do a lot of research. There's a joke about Don Draper and Mad Men, and all he did was sit around and drink. And that's because most of the work is not writing. Most of my job is not writing. It's thinking and researching and formulating. But some of my clients, we do this together. They have half of it. I bring half of it. We do some testing. When I bring a client on, it always starts with a discovery call, and we just have a conversation. I don't believe in hard sales pressure. There's no scripts. We're just talking, and we're seeing if there's a way that I can help. And then I let you know what that looks like. From there, it's all completely custom based on what the client really, truly needs. So I definitely make recommendations, ask the right questions to get the information I need. And then, and we go from there. If all you need is me to be a pen, I'll write all day long. It's fun. I won't write all day long. I'll research and then write. But if you need that additional work, we can absolutely work on that.
That's awesome. And to your point about Don Draper sitting around doing absolutely nothing, there's a great, really quick read out there that I highly recommend to any business owner, because I think it'll make sense about inspiration and how to actually determine, develop ideas. Well, I think that's sort of the name of it. I'm trying to remember the exact name of it, but there's this great 40-page book by a guy who was in the advertising world in Chicago back in the 40s or something. And I'm guessing that you're like looking it up right now, or you have it on your shelf, or you have a PDF, but his name was James Webb Young. And it was, now I can't remember the name of it. Do you know the name of this book?
Creative process, a technique for producing ideas, the simple 5-step formula anyone can use to be more creative in business and in life. Google is amazing.
Isn't it? Well, that book talks about exactly what you were talking about, which is that the research process is the first step. And then there's the walk away from everything and let it all. Yeah.
and you will percolate in different. I percolate really well when I'm driving or when I'm in the shower. Just want to percolate.
Yeah. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. And again, another rabbit hole we could have gone down, and we'll just have to save for another conversation.
Another conversation. Otherwise, I think we'd probably be here for 3 or 4 hours.
Indeed. Well, why don't we find a time to have that next conversation? In the meantime, we should send people who are interested in learning more about you to your website. So where can they find out more about the work that you're doing?
For sure. My home on the web is alysonlex.com. That's ALYSONLEX. Blame my mother for that first name. Thank my husband for the last one. I'm also Alyson Lex on every social media. I'm pretty Googleable.
And as you just proved, Google is an
awesome.
Amazing tool. So
I do love Google.
If for some reason you can't find Alyson, you can find the link in the show notes to this episode as well. Alyson Lex, thank you so very much for the fabulous conversation.
This was so much fun. Thank you for having me. I look forward to finding another rabbit hole and jumping down with you another day.
Fantastic. Folks, this has been More Perfect Marketing. If you enjoyed the episode and you'd like to share it with somebody else who could appreciate what we've just been chatting about, please share it. And I look forward to seeing you back here on another episode soon. Take care.